Welcome back to the show. Senator Marco Rubio had a good night last night as well, as he did in debate one, which did nothing for his poll numbers. And Newsmax viewers agreed, voting him into third place. Last night he was asked about global warming.
But here's the bottom line. Every proposal they put forward are going to be proposals that will make it harder to do business in America, that will make it harder to create jobs in America. Single parents are already struggling across this country to provide for their families. Maybe a billionaire here in California can afford an increase in their utility rates, but a working family in Tampa, Florida, or anywhere across this country cannot afford it. So we are not going to destroy our economy. We are not going to make America a harder place to create jobs in order to pursue policies that will do absolutely nothing to change our economy, to change our climate, to change our weather.
Rubio also says an increase in utility prices is not worth what the changes the president wants to put in place, limiting coal production and other so-called dirty energy production. Is this an issue, Jonathan, that will resonate with voters?
I don't think on the Republican side it's going to resonate. And I think one of the things that that really stood out for me with Rubio was when Trump said about his terrible voting record. I think that is one of the ways that you measure somebody's experience or qualifications as being in Congress. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had no comeback with that. He just said that he knew he was going to run for president. I mean, that's not a comeback for that.
Rubio has a very special problem, and it's really manifesting itself in the polls that we see every month. He is identified as one of the candidates on the right of the party. In reality, if you look at that voting record and you look at what he says, he's much more center-right than he is right.
That's correct.
And this keeps tripping him up. That answer, I don't know what the heck he was saying. You know, it was one of those answers politicians give you when they know they don't want to sound like an idiot. They want to be on the right side of the answer, but he just didn't really say anything. And this is the problem. When you close your eyes and you listen to him speak, he's very commanding. You open your eyes, he looks a little too young. I think that's a problem. But he is in this trap I don't think he can get out of now.
You know why
he's not as conservative as he wants us to believe he is.
You know why he's center right?
Why?
Because you just brought it up, exactly. He looks young. You know why? Because he is young. He's my age. Right. And people my age don't tend to be right. We're much more moderate on social issues. It's just the way it is. It's the way we're brought up. We're much more
when you get to be my age, you get conservative and cranky.
Well, of course. You're still mad about
unless
the
you get liberal,
or you get liberal and cranky.
Right.
And that's the point. With the passing of time, people's ideas ossify. What makes Rubio interesting is that's not where he is. He actually isn't a dyed-in-the-wool, doctrinaire kind of conservative. What he is a strong guy who believes in limited government, in real military power where it needs to be used, and then trying to grow the economy in a reasonable way. That doesn't play for the dogmatists, but I think it does play for a lot of real people.
Why don't you play for me your movie titles for each candidate last night that you're so proud of? Go ahead,
I'm
Bradley,
not proud, but
quickly.
here we go. For The Invisible Man, Mike Huckabee. The Disappearing Man, Scott Walker.
You had a warning.
The Quiet Man, Ben Carson and Rand Paul were tied for that one. The Last Angry Man, Donald Trump. The Lost Man, Jeb Bush. A Man of the People, Chris Christie. And then tied for third, a man or woman for all seasons, Kasich, Rubio, and Fiorina. I left you, Ted Cruz.
Hey, I could have done the whole thing in one movie title. Idiocracy.
Oh,
Idiocracy. Okay.
That's the cynical man.
Yeah, that's true. I'll go with Ted Cruz' Solitary Man, which is a movie starring Michael Douglas from about 2010, I believe. Anyway, Dr. Ben Carson had a mixed night last night, that's being generous, when asked about his immigration plan, specifically why it's not amnesty.
My plan is not amnesty for a number of reasons. Number one, I've talked to farmers, and they said they cannot hire Americans to do the kind of job that I'm talking about. And the second reason is because the individuals who register as guest workers, they don't get the vote, they are not American citizens, and they don't get the rights and privileges of American citizens.
Before we get to talking about that particular line, what did you think about his performance last night? Because I felt Ben Carson was Ben Carson. He's not going to change. He's not going to be more fiery, more confrontational. All that said, I have no idea, after all these months,
who he is,
and what his platform is.
We know
what is the change that he is going to bring?
We know one thing for sure.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a fashion consultant. Now, this picture of Dr. Carson, and I like the suit.
You didn't like the suit?
No, wait.
Carnival Barker suit?
Exactly. It was a Carnival Barker suit, and when you see it on live television, the lines, when they're chalk lines like that, they go bzzz. And he was like, a producer just said in there,
Roger
but Roger
Stone
Stone loved it.
And Roger
Well,
Stone does write fashion.
Yeah, well, okay.
All right, moving
Yes, he is.
on. What's his candidacy about?
You
What does
know
he
what?
really bring besides I'm smart, I'm not a politician, I'm a
He is
doctor, and I'm really
smart.
smart?
He's a nice man. His ideas are, I'm sorry, they're from cuckoo land. You know, I've interviewed him. He says some really strange things. He does mean well. There is no way in the world this man is prepared to be president.
But you wouldn't mind him as a surgeon general now, would you?
No, not at all. And I wouldn't mind, you know, sharing a beer with him. He's a very nice man.
Very good.
And
don't drink beer,
very
though, so
talented in
that's
his field.
The thing that bothered me about him last night was the fact that he said he told Bush this and he told Bush that about the Gulf War. I'm not looking for somebody, which Carly Fiorina has the same problem, who may have been in private practice, but were very, very, very close to politics. That's somebody who's coming on and misrepresenting themselves as far as I'm concerned, because obviously he had some contact
What about
with
Trump,
politics.
who's given a fortune and was
Yeah.
close to every politician?
But Trump isn't trying to hide that. You
Oh,
see what
come
I'm
on.
saying?
That's
They're
not
portraying.
fair.
No, but he
they're
said he's not a
portraying-
politician. He says he can buy them like, you know, like
There's a
Don
difference.
Corleone.
I buy your
There's a
criticism, but
difference
you
in-
have to include him. You do.
Trump is not hiding it. What I see with Ben Carson is, I'm not a politician.
Carly's
I'm
not
around
hiding
it.
it. She ran for Senate in California. I mean,
They're still running on that platform.
Does Ben Carson now, because we're wrong every time, so let's just admit that we are, because we didn't see that surge coming after the last debate.
No, we didn't.
Right, but are we right this time where we say people say, yeah, I just don't quite get the
ask
candidacy?
me next week.
Not yet.
Ask me next week.
It's too soon.
It is too
It's
soon.
too soon. That was a
Okay,
good guy.
very
He's a smart guy. It's too soon.
So who do you think won last night's debate? You know where to go. Go to newsmaxpoll.com and cast your vote. Coming up, we're going to sift through more debate highlights. We're going to separate fact from fiction, and boy, there's a lot of that. You don't want to miss
Always
it.
is.
Yes, this is the Daily Wrap.